Hi, I'm Kevin Galetz. I'm a program facilitator with the Regina District Industry Education Council, and I work in SunWest School Division. So, we want to do a series on interviews of students who recently graduated from high school and what the transition to life after high school is like, is particularly like to being a post-secondary student and moving away from home. And primarily, I'm looking at it from a rural perspective. So, a rural student moving to a post secondary program, usually in larger cities and sometimes a long ways from home. So, I've lined up a number of former Rosetown Central High School students who are in different programs. And in this series, we will start to interview them and ask some questions about that transition. And today I'm joined by Tyler Moore. And I'll let Tyler introduce himself in a minute about where he's been and what he's been doing. And I'd like to thank Tyler for doing this session with us today. So, Tyler, can you just tell us about what post-secondary program you're in currently?
Yeah. So right now I'm in the University of Saskatchewan in Saskatoon, and I'm in my fourth year of kinesiology. And for my first year, I attended the University of Saskatchewan Satellite Campus in Munster.
Okay, so you said that you're year four, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, so graduating with your Kines degree this year, end of this year.
Hmm.
That's good. That's awesome. So,
Yeah.
what the factors in your decision to go to U of S and to St. Peter's to start with? Can you tell the students that what kind of helped you with that decision?
Yeah. So to be honest, when I was like at the start, I was not sure at all what I wanted to do after high school. I just know that I wanted to go to university. I just wasn't sure what program to take. Then in high school, after taking health sciences 20, and then considering how much I loved sports and phys ed and health classes, one of my teachers actually recommended that I look into kinesiology. And so then I did, and it seemed like exactly what I wanted. And the U of S program seemed really good. And then I ended up choosing Munster because for my first year, they were offering in-person classes during COVID. And if I would have went to the Saskatoon campus, it would have all been online. So I just preferred the in-person classes.
So you kind of wanted to get that experience of being in an actual post secondary classroom.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And
So,
online classes didn't see
how,
as
so did you like? Did you in the end? Did you think that was the right decision for you when that happened?
yeah, I am very, very glad that I ended up choosing that. It was definitely the right decision for me.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. So can you describe that transition to high school, from high school life to living on your own, living away from home, and going to a larger university or college?
Yeah, it was a very big change for me. At first, it was like pretty daunting, and I felt like my entire world was shifted. But kind of as time went on, I adjusted these changes and I learned just to enjoy all the new experiences and learning opportunities. One thing that helped me with this transition was I played hockey in Rosetown my first year. So for the first half of school, I was coming home almost every weekend, and my parents could help with like laundry and cooking and everything. So I was pretty lucky. It helped make the adjustment easier. And again, it was very helpful for me to start off in Munster. The smaller class sizes and smaller campus made the transition a lot easier.
Okay, good. Uh, what were you best prepared for? Do you think, like overall?
I thought that I was really well prepared for the actual schooling aspect of things. So I remember my first year, I noticed other students were maybe struggling to take their own notes or study themselves, but I found it very easy. And I believe what helped me prepare was my experience in high school. So I think my teachers did a great job teaching me how to take my own notes in high school. I remember my Calculus 30 class, for my first time ever, we weren't given like a notebook, but instead we had to write our own notes out. And at the time, I thought it was annoying, but in the end, it was a huge, give me a huge head on everyone else for what university was really like.
Okay, good. What weren't you as prepared for?
One thing I wasn't as prepared for was how different it is moving away from your friends for the first time. So I was used to walking the halls in high school, seeing my friends everywhere and sitting next to them in class. Then I remember getting to university and on my first day sitting in class and realizing I knew nobody there. And it was kind of up to me to make my own friends. And at first that was scary, but I just coped by talking and meeting all these new people. it was awkward, but I kind of knew that everyone was in the same boat as me. So it made it easier. And then I quickly made some friends.
Put yourself out there a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Um, I don't know if you still get this, or do you ever get the feelings of being overwhelmed or out of sorts, as a student in a, in post-secondary?
Yeah, definitely. For me at least, it can happen really easily if midterms are starting to pile up or have a lot of assignments and don't know where to start. And I've kind of built some strategies for dealing with it. One that I found is just physical activity. So like going to the gym or playing some sports just really helps me like relieve stress. It gives me a chance to be social and see my friends. Another thing that I found help is just to call my parents. They can help me like solve some issues or calm me down. And then one last thing I found that helps me deal with feeling overwhelmed is just creating a schedule for myself. So I started using an online calendar. Just helps me like keep track of my due dates, my class schedule, and just helps me kind of stay on top of assignments and everything.
And my summary from that is like time management is that last part. Like there's no
Yeah,
ways
yeah,
to,
definitely.
but also the other point you were saying is stepping aside, like just either a phone call or go do something physical, something like that. It's like stepping aside and just get away.
Yeah, yeah. Take your mind off things. Yeah.
Good, good. Now, coming home, you mentioned you came home a lot in that first year because you were playing hockey. Now that you're 4 years into this, and your transition's a little further along than some than first year students, obviously. Has that changed much? Like for coming home, that part?
Yeah, it definitely has. Like I said, when I'm playing hockey, I'm usually home every weekend because there's usually a game. But now outside of hockey season, I maybe come home like once a month, I would say. Um, yeah, it was more frequent when I first started at university, but now that I'm more used to it, I feel comfortable spending more time in Saskatoon kind of by myself. So yeah, usually about once a month I would come home.
And just for students that are not around here to note that Saskatoon is only about an hour and 15 minutes
Yeah.
drive out of home, so it's not that it's too far away. But you're saying you're not coming home as much anymore, especially out of hockey season.
Yeah, correct.
Have you met many new friends over the years?
Yeah, I have met like so many new friends through university, way more than I ever thought. Uh Again, it's kind of awkward like meeting all these new people for the first time, but I'm so glad that I did it and kind of put myself out there and talk to new people. I've honestly met the majority of my friends just through like doing rec sports on campus. So like I play rec hockey, rec football, rec volleyball. It's just in my mind, it's the easiest way for me to find people like that have common interests with me, and it gives me something to talk with them about. And then another great way I've met friends at university is just through being social. So going to my classes, being on campus, going to events like school events, just makes the chances of me meeting people higher. So yeah, those are probably the easiest ways I found to meet friends.
Yeah, so you're kind of a sport-minded person and involved in sports, so you got that in the rec aspect of sport on campus. And there's other recreations too for people that aren't involved in
Oh yes.
those other
Yeah.
or
There's like tons of clubs and meetings and events. Yeah, you can any interest you have, I'm sure there's a club on campus for it.
good. Now, living arrangements like rural students have to move away from home because they're too far. It's too far for them to drive. So, can you describe your living arrangements you've had over these 4 years? Like maybe starting with maybe where you started with and where you're at now as far as kind of the situation.
Yeah. So my first year of university, I was in dorms in Munster. So I just kind of had like it was almost just a little bedroom and it was connected to the school. So it was really close to campus. And I was on a meal plan. So it was very easy. And then my second year in Saskatoon, I was also in dorms, but it was more of an apartment style dorms where I lived with three other roommates and we had our own kitchen and our own separate bedrooms. And then for my last 2 years, I've lived in a townhouse off of campus. So I live with one roommate who, funny enough, I actually met through rec hockey. And so I really liked dorms for it helped me kind of again, meet some new friends, and it was easier not having to commute every day. But I do like where I'm at right now in my townhouse, just because it kind of gives me some more space and a little bit more freedom.
Yeah, so kind of, it's interesting. I'm glad I interviewed you because I mean, you've kind of had the whole gamut of options. You know, dorm style, where it's just a bedroom and a meal plan, to dorm apartment style residence, and now to your own personal private place where you go. So yeah, so and there's probably pros and cons of each. So like you kind of
Yes.
go, but and it's maybe a good transition to kind of do it the way you've gone.
Yeah, definitely. I've definitely found that. Mhm.
Now, managing your own money, like I mean, I know we students don't completely manage their own money necessarily, but you have some decision making to do there. How's that process been?
It's been a learning experience for sure. My first year, I remember like just being away from home and by myself. I I remember like spending a ton of money on fast food and all this other unnecessary stuff that I didn't need. But pretty quickly I learned that was not a good habit. So kind of as I've gone on, I've realized that like buying my own groceries and cooking for myself was better. And like you said, I'm super lucky that my parents help pay for a lot of my schooling, so that's taken some pressure off of me. Um, yeah. Mhm.
Is it like sometimes financially, like we didn't quite talk about this ahead of time, but making income yourself as far as do you have a job while you're going to school or not?
During the school year, I do not, but every year I have had a summer job, so I have been moving back home during the summers and working in Rosetown, and that gives me a little bit more disposable income, I guess, to work with during the school year. Um, and then I've also, coming out of high school and in university, I've also applied for and received some scholarships. So that has also helped.
Yeah, I'm glad we talked about that. I was hoping you'd mention scholarships as part of it because I think sometimes students overlook. They think that they can't win anything or receive any of those, and there's lots out there. So,
Yes, definitely.
um, just to, I guess maybe to summarize a little bit, can you tell me one or two things you wish you would have known leaving high school that would have been beneficial for you?
Yeah. One thing I wish I knew starting life after high school was how to better cook for myself. Because in high school, usually for lunchtime, I would make myself just like a sandwich or a grilled cheese, and then my mom would make me supper. And it kind of led some interesting food combinations my first few years cooking for myself. I've gotten better now. I've kind of learned, but I kind of wish during high school and coming out of high school, I like taught myself how to make myself some real meals kind of before I moved out. Yeah, that was probably one of the biggest things I wish I taught myself beforehand.
Yeah, good. Um, any tips or comments for future post-secondary students that are from rural areas in particular?
Yeah, one thing I would say is just like I just wanted to mention how much I love university. Like it's been the best time of my life. I truly do love it. So if I had a tip, it would just be like enjoy it as much as you can, take it all in, go to your classes and events and football games because it just makes the university experience so much better and it goes by really fast. And then one other tip I would have, we kind of just talked about it, would be to just apply for as many scholarships as you can. I coming out of high school, I just applied for any of the ones that I met the requirements for. And even in university, I've applied for scholarships. I actually just found out I won one the other day. So that was nice. And even if you don't think you're going to win, it doesn't hurt to apply. So that'd
Yeah,
be a big tip.
pretty good return on your time investment. You know,
Yes, absolutely.
it takes to apply. Yeah, that's pretty good. Well, Tyler, that's awesome. Thank you very much for joining us today. Appreciate it. Best of luck in your remainder of your studies for this year and whatever comes forward in the future. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.